Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. We are from group 2 and today we will be presenting of the case of Joachimson vs Swiss Bank Corporation 1921. Our group member Muhammad Khairi Izlan, Nurul Natasha, Putri Bakis and Nurul Iza. So now let's start.
This case was decided on 11 March 1931 in the Court of Appeals of England and Wales, where the judge sitting were Akin Edges, Bankers Edges and Warrington Edges. This case deals with the underlying essence of the legal relationship between a bank and a customer. The issues reached in this case was that unless the client made a demand, the customer has no right of action against its bank for some repay, and accordingly, that time does not run for the purpose of limitation period until such a demand is made. However, the reason the decision is considered so important is for the influential comment made by way of obiter dictum by Akin Erje. In relation to the nature of the banker-customer relationship, the case is also such as the leading authority for the proposition that a demand for repayment must be made at the branch of the bank where the account is kept, a position which appears increasingly anachronistic in modern banking.
Now we move to the case summary. Sharfi Joachimson, Jacob Joachimson and Limak ran a partnership in Manchester. Limak was naturalized British citizen, but the other two partners were German national. The firm opened and operated a bank account with the Swiss Bank Corporation. Sharfi Joachimson died in 1940. This case falls the partnership under English law at the time. But on August 4, war broke out and Jacob Joachimson returned to Germany. The firm bank account remained dormant throughout the war, possibly due to legal restriction on enemy alien property. According to the case report, post-war Limak, the English partner, tried to dispose the partner and reclaim the 2,320 pounds in the bank account. The bank refused to repay the funds, claiming that the firm had no request repayment, so the war not due. Or the right to repayment arose upon Sharfi Joachimson's death and was now buried by the statute of limitation.
The Court of Appeal held unanimously that the claim was not statute barred. Until a customer demanded repayment from the bank, the debt was not due and payable, and thus limitation periods would not run. In delivering judgment in the case of Joachimson vs Swiss Bank Corporation, the English Court of Appeal declared that the debt incurred by a bank is not due until its customer has made a valid demand for repayment. Otherwise, the debt would be due as soon as a customer made a deposit. From this, the bank has to return the deposit immediately or be in default. If the customer was not available, the bank could close the account without first giving notice. The Court of Appeal has ruled that a customer can bring an action for the credit amount in his bank account before making any demand for repayment. In this case, the plaintiff, who acted on behalf of his firm, made no demand for repayment of the balance in the current account held by the defendant before he bring an action to enforce the repayment. Consequently, the court dismissed the proceedings with a cause of action only arise when a demand has been made, and thus it is dishonored.
How is the case related to the theory of banking operation? There are 5 types of relation between bank and customer. We got contractor in nature, trustee and beneficiary, special relationship, debtor and creditor, and lastly, agent relationship. Our group decided to focus on debtor and creditor relationship. This type of relationship is about the customer, borrowers, borrowing money from the bank, so the depositor become a creditor and bank become a debtor. So the bank will use the money deposited by the consumer to deliver services like loan. This relationship include money deposited by the customer and money lent by the bankers. In the case of bank-customer relationship, the bank is not expected to seek out the customer to repay the debt. This position was emphasized in the case of Joachimson vs Swiss Bank Corporation 1921, where the Court of Appeal held that the obligation of the bank to the customer is not that simple, but rather a debt for which demand has to be made by the customer at the branch where the account is kept and during the normal business hours unless the parties agree otherwise. Therefore, there is no obligation for the bank to make the repayment.
So that's all from us. Thank you everyone.